Hello everybody, it's Chef Matt again. I'm going to show you one of our other large pieces of equipment that we use here. We've got a state-of-the-art Robo Coupe machine, which we can use two different attachments for slicing and dicing, and this makes our job a lot easier. So, we're going to set it up first as a dicer, then we'll take it apart and set it up as a slicer. We have the dicing blade attachment that fits. There's in a groove right here, fits underneath. With that, we use a slicing attachment. So the first attachment will slice and then forces it down through the dicing attachment to give us our diced pieces. This one we have it's a grooved shaft system. So you've got to get it set on the pin right and then spin it back so that it locks in place. Once we have that set up, we're going to use the short screw and screw these in. Now we're going to attach our hopper. For dicing, we have a large hopper that has a swing bar on it, as you can see. We can fill this up with about 20 pounds of onions or carrots or something like that, and we'll feed it through very quickly. This machine is very important to set it up correctly. We want to get the chute set up on the chute. There are two grommets right here that have to be synchronized, and then the pin has to go through those grommets on this side. We'll lock that in place. The machine lock also has to be engaged. Those two are safety features of the machine. If either one of those is not in place, the machine will not work correctly. Actually, it'll cut off the machine entirely and you won't be able to get it to start or do anything like that. So once we have all this set up, now we're ready to plug in. We've got two speeds of start button and one stop button on the side there. So as we feed our product into here, we'll close the lid. That's to make sure that nothing comes jumping back out. For our catch pin, we want to take an elevated leg stand so that it's up off the floor. We'll want to put a sheet pan here so that any juices coming out of the bottom will flow down into our catch pin and not onto the floor. Then we'll take a sheet pan and put it over top like so. This way we're creating a chute where everything's going to go down into our catch bin and it's not going to go spraying out in a bunch of different directions. Once we have it set up, product's in, we'll hit the start button and you can use this to help feed it down. Once all the product is gone, we'll hit the stop button. And in order to take this machine apart, we're going to work backwards from what we just did. So we're going to remove the locking pin. We're going to unlock the machine and take the hopper off. Now this part goes to the sink to be washed as soon as we're done with it. The blades come apart again by unscrewing. And then you've got to twist and lift to remove the slicer blade. And you can lift straight out to remove the dicing blade. These are blades, so you want to make sure you're not touching the top of the dicer blade. And you also want to make sure that you're not touching the rim of the slicer. Alright, so now that we've got it disassembled from our dicing machine, we have a slicer attachment that looks a little bit different, but works in the same way. So we'll use this time only our slicer blade, fit that in. We're going to use the longer metal screw this time. Make sure that's screwed on tight. And this is the feeding hopper for our slicer machine. Again, we're going to want to line up the holes on this side. We're going to want to line up the chute. We want to make sure that the locking mechanism gets engaged. This attachment has a stop mechanism. When it's lifted all the way up and removed, it will stop the blade so that you can add more, and then as soon as it's re-engaged, it will slice again. Again, there's the high speed and low speed for turning it on. We've got one stop button. Again, you'll want to make sure that you set up the containment so that all of the product that you're slicing goes into your catch bin. Once you finish slicing, all these attachments come apart again and get washed. So we'll unplug it. You always want to unplug the machine when you're putting it together and when you're taking it apart. Disassemble our catch bin. We'll remove the locking pin. This part all goes to the dish machine to get clean, or to the dish sink to get clean, along with the slicer blade. The little washers that are included with these screws are very important to keep in place. If it disassembles when you're taking it apart, we must reassemble it and keep it together. That goes to the dish machine or to the dish sink to be cleaned. Now once we've disassembled the machine, this part that's in here will also need to be cleaned, as well as the outside of the machine. The easiest way to do that is to actually use some water and first rinse it with clean water, and then we'll use Dawn soap and then rinse it again in the same way. But this is all watertight, so you can take a bin of water and rinse it down, as long as you have a catch bin below or a drain bin below, and make sure we don't make a mess. So had I used this, I would rinse it like so, soapy water, clean all of these parts inside and out, and then again rinse it down, and we'll wipe off the outside so that it's nice and ready for the next person.